who heads the COVID task force. At the New England Complex Systems Institute, this is a think tank in Cambridge, United States. Over the last 3 days, a host of universities, researchers, scientists, even the US State Department, they've all warned that China's COVID surge could spill over to the rest of the world. I'll take you through these warnings. We'll dissect the predictions and assess the risk of a potential horrific new wave. In January 2020, he was one of the first health experts to sound an alarm over the Wuhan virus. He said that COVID-19 could be catastrophic. He called it thermonuclear pandemic level bad. Once again, these are his words. He was slammed for spreading hysteria, accused of crying wolf unnecessarily. The rest, as you know, is history. It's 2022, and COVID is alive and kicking among us.
The toll of the virus is of concern to the rest of the world, given the size of China's GDP, given the size of China's economy. It's not only good for China to be in a stronger position vis-a-vis COVID, but it's good for the rest of the world as well. The United States continues to be a leading force for countries around the world in the provision of vaccines and helping countries overcome the acute phase of the virus. We certainly hope that will be the case before long in the PRC.
35 months, 600 million cases and 6 million deaths later, this scientist has issued a similar warning. He says the current COVID surge in China is thermonuclear bad yet again and could soon spill over to the rest of the world.
So what do we make of this? How do we perceive these warnings? To answer these questions, we'll have to take a look at what's unfolding in China, understand the scale of the crisis and its potential to spill over. I'll start with these images. They're from the Chinese hospital. It is overwhelmed with patients currently. Morgues are filled with dead bodies, and yet there's no official word from China on hospitalizations. It maintains that not more than 7 people have died in the last few weeks. How then does China plan to explain these images? They're from a crematorium in Beijing. There are funeral vehicles here. As far as the eye can see, there are relatives of victims dressed in black from head to toe, desperately waiting for their turn to arrive, and when asked about their plight, all of them refuse to speak. China also maintains that the caseload is falling, that there are very few fresh infections. Then what explains these images? They are from Beijing. These are delivery workers crowding outside pharmacies, waiting to collect medicines. They say they're picking up multiple orders because loads of people have tested positive. You must listen to this.
The reopening has been slightly burdensome. It's a bit of a burden to suddenly reopen when the supply of medications was not sufficiently prepared.
I am not worried. Anyway, the people around me, loads of them are positive, but I'm not positive yet. I've been taking vitamins.
The queues stretch for several meters, with people waiting in line for several hours. These are just a few images that could make it beyond China's censors. Who knows how many more are stuck within the great Chinese firewall? That said, there's no dearth of official statements flowing in from Beijing. Chinese health officials are doing regular presses, downplaying concerns about the situation. No surprises there. And of course, the possibility of new variants.
It is relatively unlikely that it will increase both its contagiousness and lethality at the same time. Will a new strain of both greater transmission and lethality appear? This possibility is even smaller.
Deaths caused by pneumonia and respiratory failure after contracting COVID-19 would be classified as COVID-19 deaths. Deaths caused by other underlying diseases such as cardiovascular disease, resulting in death for infected people, will not get that classification.
就不把它归类为